break. Right before we went to that break, I was making a point about trauma bonding, and Tree wanted to follow up with the comment on that. So yeah, let's discuss trauma bonding.
Okay, so you'll have to forgive me and all the listeners and fact checkers out there. You'll have to forgive me for not knowing the exact nomenclature to connect to what I am speaking of right now. But I'm going to do my research and follow up with these conversations maybe in a part two day trail. And okay,
Okay.
so if you would please be patient with me, and I'm going to try to describe the vibe. So when we trauma bond, we are sharing a deep traumatizing experience, describing it. And I'm going to say two definitions here. One is describing it and, reliving it, recanting it in order to put a person back into the place where we were in order for them to understand why it was so traumatizing for us. And then maybe that person doing the same and us um, having that connection there and that conversation strictly for the purposes of sharing these detrimental experiences that allow us to feel closer together because now we both know something about the other person. We feel um, heard. We don't feel exposed, but even though we shared something exposing, um,
Mm.
and so there's a bond made at that time. The other form of trauma bonding, and I don't know all the definitions, I'm just giving two examples, that you go through something together. You
Yeah.
could know this person or you could not know this person, but you, let's say, both experience this traumatic experience together. Maybe it's, almost crashing in a bus, and so 20 people on a bus. And so they all experience being thrown to another seat or up to the front of the back of the seat before them, whatever it is. High palpitations of the heart happen. And then you look around and you see everyone is okay. And it's like you all can finally breathe. And it's like, my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's another bonding situation where it's a traumatic experience, right? And so I think in the first definition, there is a release of, I don't know the correct name, again, forgive me, but you know how there is endorphins, serotonin,
Mm-hmm.
I believe another one is dopamine, but those are definitions of things that are released in more positive times. But I don't know the name for what we're talking about right now, but somebody help me out there. Um, but there is a for things like protection, things like, memories that either bring joy or detriment. And we begin to connect muscle memory to these things,
Yeah.
meaning we find identity in our trauma.
Okay. Been longer than a couple of seconds. It did pop out again. I'm not sure
Can you hear
here.
me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Where did it stop?
Last thing I heard was oof.
Okay.
um because I went into the mode of trying to reel it back in to make
Okay,
sure we could pick back up.
gotcha.
Um, and I did forget the point. I was like, "Ooh, am I gonna text her? I'm gonna send a message on here."
Was it at the point of um, serotonin, dopamine?
We got past that part of releasing
Okay.
different energies, but it
Was
was about the
it
part of
finding solace in our trauma?
yes,
Okay. So we begin to find solace in our trauma. We begin to find identity in our trauma. We begin to find community in our trauma. And if we have built our life around that community, around that peace that we find, who are we if we were to truly heal?
mm-hmm,
And so it really causes us to be accountable and to be less dramatic and to be peaceful and to be quiet and to be still, even through the chaos, not going back to the things that we remember, the
right,
processes we remember, um, the reactions we remember, but to find peace in doing something different that is actually moving you towards more healing. I hope
yes.
that makes sense.
No, that definitely makes sense, and I think it's a thing that is definitely missed in a lot of moments and things because I think because of that reason, again, this is probably going a little deeper, but even as a coaching principle, those are things I talk about as well, as far as how some people don't want to heal because they don't recognize or know, as you just stated as well, is who they are outside of their trauma. They
Right.
don't have an identity because they have identified as those things so much that peace scares them because all they've
Yeah.
known is chaos. So,
Yeah.
and I think all of this, the reason why, for those who are listening and still here with us, another reason of bringing all of this in, as far as even discussing trauma bonding, is because even in that, this still ties into being that adult that you needed, or teaching someone else and being an adult for them. Of as we said, breaking the mold and doing something different. And I think that's the other reason why I wanted on the back end to come with that,
Hmm.
of saying not only how to be the adult that you need for yourself, but how to be the adult that you may have needed, but to also be able to give that back to younger
Hmm.
generations, as you were saying earlier, as far as just reshaping the narrative, and instead of questioning a lot or speaking negatively against, but praying for and being there for, supporting, getting understanding. One of the
Yeah.
things that I love that NDRE says in her song "There's Hope" is, if old people would talk to younger people, we could be a better people.
Oh my goodness. I
And
was just
so
about to say something about that.
yeah,
Hmm.
so it's just in that, again, even in the moment of, again, even just discussing trauma bonding, we can undo a lot of that trauma and
Yes.
unpack a lot of that if we did that. And I think that was, again, a big component of what I wanted for this conversation too, is just how to be that, to also undo a lot of that, and how do we propel ourselves forward instead of still doing the things that ain't been working for us for the past couple of generations and decades.
Right.
So
And then what just popped up for me when you said undo. So when we say the word undo in this instance, we think of, you know, file undo, right?
mhm.
um, we think of, you know, taking away the action of whatever was done to make it like it never existed before,
Mm,
right? When we say undo, UNDO, to undo, right? So what pops up into my head is a different spelling, which is UNDUE,
mm,
undo. So what trauma does is it provides a cloud of grief and guilt because you're feeling guilt because of um, what has happened. Maybe you could have done something different, or you feel the guilt of realizing that you made it out,
mhm,
survivor's remorse, if you will. And you begin to feel like something is owed to an entity outside of yourself. Like when people apologize a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, or I'm sorry, I apologize, or of course, apologies are needed in their just time, right? But
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm speaking to those who go around apologizing a lot. You deserve to be in the good places that you've gotten to set foot in.
Yes.
And so you don't owe anyone anything. Um, and you do owe yourself the best parts of yourself. So quit giving them away first to everyone else. So undo. You owe no one everything.
Yeah.
You owe someone. Okay. What I'm saying is you don't owe anyone anything, right? But you owe everything to yourself. So the due date, the amount due, um, is all wiped away. It's a clean slate when you choose to heal, undo.
Yes. Whew. Wow. And no, and see, it's great because I'm too sometimes a word person. So to be able to look at it in both aspects like that is a thing. Because when you're able to look at it that way, it helps in that healing process to understand what your path is and what your journey is going to look like,
Hmm.
and how you're going to set the tone for that work. So um, I think we done probably covered the next couple of questions I had just in this
Oh, great.
just in this moment. One of the other ones that I had to kind of move from there. Wow, I need some pen and paper for myself on this. But question wise, do you think there was ever like an aha moment for you, realizing that you had that power and ability to be who you needed and to be maybe who someone else needed?
Wow. So many actually. So many aha moments. But it's like which one um best serves as an example for tonight is what I'm trying to figure out. An aha moment. What was your aha moment realizing you had the ability to be who you needed? Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Every time I say wow, there's an example. Just coming through like a subway train leaving.
Uh-huh.
And here comes another one. Oh, which one shall we talk about? Okay, let me work this chronological order I have going on in my head. Maybe if I release this thought, it will allow another one to feel invited to stay. So, being the adult that we needed, there is still a chance to be the adult that we needed. We can do these things by healing our inner child, doing things that we used to do as children, but as an adult. And I'm speaking of, if you liked playing tennis when you were 7, go and sign up for some tennis classes now as an adult. How to use your mechanical skills
Yeah.
um, in tennis now as an adult and see how that brings back joy for you. And then one way to pay it forward is giving some time to the generations that have come before you. Because as we grow older and then grow older again, we actually return to needing what we needed when we first came into this world. So, what I'm saying is, when you were 8 months and then you reach 45, And then you become 80 and 90, you begin to need some of the same things that you needed at 8 months when you're 80 and
Mm-hmm.
90. So tap into relating to our elders, our wisdom possessors, if you will, those who have the experience, have the years, have the wisdom. Go ahead and pour into them, smile with them, spend some time with them. There may be someone in your family, maybe someone at your church, maybe someone at your place of work, someone who's about to retire, someone who kept you as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I think that would be wonderful. Now, back to my aha moment. There have been many things that I've prayed for, and before taking the journey to solidify my own relationship with God, I thought that I had to wait for my mom to pray on me, over me, with me,
Mm,
for me. Well, Mama, I need you to pray for this. I need you to pray for this,
right.
and then finally understanding truly what it meant to go to God for myself. And I remember asking God for a process, and it wasn't until 2 years into having that process, which was about 5 years from when I prayed for it, I realized, oh my God, literally,
Yeah.
my God, literally, I've had this for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And it's little moments like this that's like, I truly, fervently requested, asked of this. And no, it wasn't just dropped in my lap. You know, yes, I
Right.
had to do my own research. Yes, I had to, you know, ask um, around. Yes, I had to get doors slammed in my face because of the lack of understanding of why I might have needed this information. Yes, I had to go through a few bozo situations that thickened my skin in order for me to be prepared for what I
Yeah.
asked God for. You understand?
Yep.
So my aha moment was, oh, everything worked out for my good, even the bad, even the things that I have questions about still, even the things that I didn't see coming, the things that caught me off guard, things I cried about, even those things worked out for my good.
Yes.
And when you recognize that from the incubation of that prayer to it coming to fruition, the processes that had to be allowed in order for it to happen in the natural, because it had already happened as a goal, as a dream, spiritually, as a man thinketh. And so for it to come to fruition and truly be something that was not tangible, you start to see it materialize. It is a wonderful feeling to know that that thought, that spark, started from nothing, out of thin air, into other people being blessed by it.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
That was my aha moment.
Wow. I don't even have words after that.
It's many of them that has been exchanged.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's just in the again you the way that you give in the simplest forms of just being able to explain those and just similar situations again where it's that thing where it's like even for me in this moment, it's like trying to create opportunity for other people as well as
Mm-hmm.
myself while doing even these pep talks and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the beauty of it is that one of the other reasons why I love it is because I talk a lot and I get to sit back and hear someone else speak. I get to
Oh,
hear their story and their journey. So it's one of the reasons why I enjoy doing this and why I like having someone different every month. I do feel like even after listening back to this, we probably gonna have a part two to this.
but we
Um,
must.
I just feel that's what it's gonna be, and that's okay. Um, because I think it's a thing of um, while talking about the undoing, I think it's these conversations that are due to us that we
Mm,
need
yes,
to help again break down those walls and those barriers. And I feel the more that we talk about it, the more other people also just begin to recognize and understand that as well.
yes,
So, well, as a placeholder there, then as we again we'll probably have this part two. I'm just end it there today.
yeah. As we proceed
As
to
we
give the people
proceed.
what they need.
So I want to say thank you for joining. Thank you to those of you who are listening and have sat in and who may have questions, and thank you for being open into this process and even clicking the link and taking a listen, because
Thank you.
you may feel you clicked on this by accident, but it's not by chance that this was needed for you in this moment as well. Um, so thank you for listening. Thank you to my PEP team, which is myself. I'm just kidding. I do have some help, so I'm trying to get to that point of actually building more and having more people as a team. But I do. My best friend is helping me with a lot of different things in the background. So thank you for your help. Um, and
Thank
Tree,
you.
again, thank you for your time today and your energy and your love and your light. And um, again, musically, everybody knows I call all my people daylights, and we know that
Mm,
again, you are a daylight to me.
yes, darling.
Um,
Yes. And not only in the daytime.
okay,
Okay.
the nighttime too.
Yeah.
So, as a closure, just kind of giving you the floor again to close out with yourself and tell the people where they can follow you. Right now, I have it with just your Instagram of at Tree Music. But if there's any others places or how you want to connect with people, let them know where else they can find you, and tell them where your music and stuff is too.
Oh, thank you so much for this opportunity. Before I go into talking about myself again, I just want to say, Daytrail, thank you again for, first of all, launching your platform in this way. You're going to help a lot of people with this, and I'm just happy to be a part of your journey. Thank you for being consistent. Thank you for being integral. And thank you for caring about how it's presented. So professional, darling. Yes.
Thank you. I try.
And I want to thank you for seeing in me something that can be a help to people that listen to you, to people that listen to me, and to those that we will meet together.
Yes.
I want to say I am filled with gratitude, darling. And I am Tree G. I can be found on all social media as Tree G Music. I have two albums, one called You Don't Even Call, that can be found wherever you stream or download. The second one is called Freckled Faced Fantasies. And I am available for songwriting. I am available for vocal lessons. And I am available for vocal mentorship, stage presence, things of that nature. You just hit me up and let me know, and we'll talk it out from there. You can go through the link in my bio on Instagram to figure out the new things that are going on. Things like Vocal Yoga HTX. We're also going to bring it to Austin. So it's going to be Vocal Yoga ATX. which is a yoga inspired event where we connect with our communication, with our voice. You do not have to be a singer to join. You just have to be a person that wants to communicate with the rest of the world or with one or with yourself in a better way. Thank you so much for having me, Day Trail. I am a daylight, darling.
Yes, you are. Indeed, you are. But no, seriously, thank you. And you guys know me. You can follow my music and everything at Daytrail, and coaching things at the PP plan. And this is going to be added to the new podcast setup as well, which
Yay!
I have to update. But that can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, or wherever you like to listen to your podcast. And it's going to be called The Daylight's Den. So
Ooh,
I'm excited about that.
me
Um,
too.
so yeah, be on the lookout for that. And that's it. As my usual reminder, y'all, be radical, be daring, be you. Much love and peace.